Hi, everybody. Thrilled to have you, and I'm coming out here outside to do this training for you today. Let's talk a little bit about leadership and staff accountability. So I was on a webinar that I was hosting 3 days ago, and I got a question from Miss Lori, one of the attendees on the webinar, Lori M. And Lori asked in the chat, what about the staff member who refuses to keep her classroom in compliance? And I reflected on that question because I get that flavor of a question a lot. In fact, that was how we started the webinar. Is on a slide I actually have, how come I can't get fill in the blank to do X? How come, and you might be wondering right now, somebody in your program, how come I can't get Stephanie to clean up her classroom at the end of the day? How come I can't get this teacher to give me her newsletter articles on time? And the one that Lori on the webinar asked, Lori M asked, what about the teacher that won't keep her classroom in compliance? It's actually a very high risk situation potentially. That, and depending on the nature of what she means by in compliance, whether it's in ratio or to health and safety standards or following COVID protocol, there's a lot of potential compliance risks that you face as a childcare owner or leader if you can't inspire and lead your teachers to do what you need them to do. And I know that you guys live and breathe this all day long. And so the answer that I gave Lori was the quick answer, the down and dirty answer that she wanted was, it's the leader's responsibility. Lori needs to look in the mirror and say, why am I letting this person get away with not being in compliance when I can just gently coach, guide, have one-on-ones, and alert them to the why behind why it's so important. What is the risk of being out of compliance for the organization? How could it potentially shut the school down? And really showing and demonstrating to this teacher of Lori's that the risks that she's putting the school at, and that they will not be able to make a difference in the lives of children and families if they are put in these risks of being out of compliance. It's just you can't do business that way, right? So helping this teacher understand the why behind your policies and procedures is number one. And then number two is holding her accountable starts with you, and you have to have a corrective action plan in place for this teacher. If you've given her 2, 3, 4 chances, that's probably too many, but you're the one that has to write your policies and then enforce the policies. So when you're having an issue with a staff person, it's one of 3 things, guys. This might be a writer downer for you. It's one of 3 things. It's either a training issue. So in this case, she wasn't trained on how to be in compliance or what to do when things were at risk of being out of compliance. So how do you retrain? You have to retrain her. The second reason is it's a policy issue. So the policy does not support the result that you want, the outcome that you want. So you have to change your policy and then enforce it. And number 3 is a leadership issue. And if you are enabling this kind of activity, if you are enabling gossip and bad behaviors in your program, or allowing it to happen, or brushing it under the rug, or pretending like it's not happened, or favoring certain people over others, it's a leadership issue. And so that's why you have to look at yourself in the mirror, and go, is it me? And I always do that, guys. Whenever I'm having an issue with my team and there's angst and hurt feelings and misunderstandings or unclear communication, I first always look myself in the mirror. Always. And I go, was it me? Was it something that I, Chris Murray, could have done better? Differently? How did I screw up? And then, do I need to have an open and honest conversation with this person? And really have a sit down, what I call a come to Jesus meeting. And so my question to you is, do you need to be doing that more often with certain people on your team who are undermining you, who are not following policies, who are getting away with stuff that's putting your center at risk? And show up as the leader that you need to be and pull up those big girl or big boy panties. Yes, I said it. I'm going there. And lead. And stop enabling people. And stop pleasing people. There's so many of you, including my friend Beth Davis in Florida, who recently admitted in one of her pieces that she sent me. It wasn't recently, it was last year after she took our leadership mastery course. She's like, I was a people pleaser. All I was doing was trying to be friends with my teachers and get them to not be mad at me. Is that you? Or are there certain teachers that you might even be afraid of who are holding you hostage? And you've got to lead that activity and that situation out of your school today. I'm calling you accountable today to do that. It's not serving the rest of your team. It's not serving the beautiful children and families that are in your school. So again, the 3 root causes of an employee not doing what she should be doing, or he. Number 1, it's a training issue, and you have to go back and retrain. And then figure out how to make the training stick better. Number 2, it's a policy issue. And number 3 is it's a leadership issue. Now, some things that you can do proactively once you get these things resolved. So take care of those issues today. Have the open and honest conversation privately. Have the one-on-ones. Put them on corrective action programs or PIPs if you need to, with clear deliverables of what's owed and what's due, what needs to change, what's the path, and by when. What needs to change and by when? And what are the improvements you're looking for by what dates in order for them to stay in your company? What's at risk is they're going to be kicked off the bus. Now, and many of you guys are in the biggest hiring pain points of your life right now because nobody wants to work. Everybody's collecting unemployment, pretending like they want to work by filling out applications, maybe even saying that they're going to start on day 1 and then not showing up. I heard about this twice yesterday. It's happening all across our country because we're sending out checks. We're giving out free money, y'all. What happens when we give free money? It disincentivizes our workforce. So we're now dealing with the brunt of this. So you're going, well, I'm going to hang on to this D or F player because I can't find any other even C players, let alone A's and B's, Chris Murray. And I'll say, okay, temporarily you can hang on to this person, but at least hold her accountable with a PIP, a performance improvement plan today to get that classroom back in compliance. That's my answer to Lori M., who asked the question on the webinar. You've got to enforce the behavior that you expect, and you have to be watching it and driving for it, and then giving core value shout outs for people who are your A and B players so that they know to keep performing at that top level. Give them shout outs, give them gift cards, give them hugs, make them treats, do whatever you need to do to make sure that you know that they're kicking ass for you, that they're your rock stars, okay? And the more you reward and lay out the specificity of what are the rock star behaviors you seek, the more you will attract team members that want to perform at that level, because they'll see the other rock stars in your program will get celebrated and get perks and shout outs and love, and they'll hopefully start turning their own behavior around with guidance and coaching from you, the leader. So I hope that this was useful for you today. If you need a little kick in your pants about not being, not putting up with stuff that you know you shouldn't be putting up with, and having a framework to ask yourself, is it a training issue, is it a policy issue, or is it me, the leader? That's it, guys. Then you'll know what to do and how to fix it. But then you must act. You must actually get out of your office and, have the hard, difficult conversation. Have the open and honest communication. And when I have to face that with my team members, I usually frame it up like, okay, we got to have a one-on-one, and I need to have a heart-to-heart with you today, Sally. And I'm just going to be open and honest here. And I'm going to be honest with you, because I would hope that you're going to be honest with me too. And I want to hear anything that you have to say to me that you've been either afraid to tell me or you feel like you can't tell me. And I just want you to know that I'm listening. I'm listening. And you're going to be heard. So what I need to then say to you as your leader is I need to let you know that I know you can do better. You have amazing talent and gifts within you, and you're not utilizing those talents and gifts. And I'm here to help support you be better, because these are the behaviors I'm seeing, and I know that you have better within you. So let's dive in deep, let's pull some layers back, and let me help you as your leader come to these behaviors that I need you to do for me. I need you to keep your classroom in compliance. And this is the 4 times in the last week that I've seen it. It's not. So tell me truly and honestly what's going on with you. How can I help support the expectation? Because if you're not able to do these things, I'm putting you on a PIP today around this behavior, and these are the behaviors that I want you to shift, and here's how I want you to shift them. But before we dive into all that detail, give me feedback about how you're feeling about what I'm telling you right now. And please do your best to be open and honest. There you go. That's the language. Use it however you want to, make it your own. But have those conversations and use that leadership level, confident conversation, confident but empathy, confident yet empathetic. Okay? That's my thing. That's what I always try to drive into you guys is confidence with empathy. Simon Sinek. Okay? Love on people, but lead them to be better than they even know that they can be. And now you're leading.